So that brings me to COVID-19, quarantine, lockdown, all
Yes.
of that.
Uh-huh.
Um, I've been asking all my guests, what do you think about COVID-19? Why do you think it's here? And
Hmm.
also, how are you coping with it being here?
Mm. Great question. Great question. The first thing I hear when I say, what do you think of COVID-19 is I think it's here to bring us back home.
Yeah.
And not home like literally we're stuck at home, but
Yeah.
like home to ourselves.
Yeah.
And like I feel like spirit said, pause, like
Mm-hmm.
sit down,
Mm-hmm.
take a breath,
Mm-hmm.
see what's around you, what
Mm-hmm.
have you created? Are you happy?
Mm-hmm.
Do you wake up in the morning and turn over and give gratitude for the person that's next to you? Or do you wake up and turn over and go, shit,
Yeah.
that's not the one, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah.
Or do you turn over and pray?
Yeah.
Maybe you haven't given yourself permission to want that relationship or whatever that is. And so I
Mm.
really think that this is a great reset and a great homecoming
Yeah.
for all of us
Mm-hmm.
to like really take inventory
Yeah.
of like, why am I here?
Yeah.
And what am I committed to?
Yeah.
And what kind of life do I want to create? And who do I want to create with? You
Mm-hmm.
know?
Mm-hmm.
So definitely that's my take on COVID-19. And how have I been dealing with it?
Yeah.
Um,
Or how's it affected you, if it has?
I I saw a meme at the beginning of this. It was like, so I basically found out my lifestyle is called quarantine. And I really resonated with that because, I work from home
Yeah.
and my partner works from home. And the biggest shift has been my son being home from school and doing the homeschooling stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And, I had been telling people for a little while that I was thinking about homeschooling him in middle school, which is 2 years from now. And I just feel like God was like, hey, we're just going to speed up this plan. Okay.
Right.
Um, and so for me, it's been just really, I've taken it as an opportunity to practice how quickly can I shift?
Mm.
Like, statistically, an emotion lasts no longer than 90 seconds if we don't make a story about it.
Mm.
The average is 17
Mm-hmm.
seconds.
Mm-hmm.
It can last up to 90 though. So
Mm.
can I be so present with myself that I can breathe into it, feel into that, notice what's coming up, and move with choice
Yeah.
and move with intention,
Yeah. Yeah.
And how do I mean, to me, it's felt like a refinement, a refinement of like, how do I show up as a mother? What experiences do I want to create with my son? What experiences do I want to create with my partner? And, my partner and I have had many dialogues during this time of like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, how are we showing up? Do we want to show up this way? What do we want to create? What do we want the schedule to look like? What do we want to teach? And it's been super fun, Peeta, because like my son does his schoolwork, but then we also do things where, I had him doing market research on turtles the other day because he wants to like
Nice.
start breeding turtles,
Yeah.
and like he wants to start a little turtle business. And so I'm like, oh, you want to start a business? Well, here's the curriculum.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
your project now is to research turtles
Yeah.
and like figure out which ones can mate and which ones can't and how old they need to be, and you need to learn all about it, right? Or
Mm-hmm.
he wants to start a YouTube channel. And I'm like, okay, well, here's what you got to do. You got to
Yeah.
outline the topics you want to do. What are the colors? What's the theme? How often you want to post? Like I'm geeking out on it.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's a refinement for me
Yeah.
of like, let's really, really be with ourselves
Yeah.
and see what happens. Yeah.
Are you finding anything challenging during this quarantine period for yourself?
In the beginning, I was really challenged with the amount of grief I was experiencing.
Mm.
I felt like going to the store and seeing the empty shelves
Mm.
and seeing the people and feeling the people in their fear,
Yeah.
and in their uncertainty. It broke my heart. a
Mm-hmm.
couple times. It was really because I am the kind of person that's like, it's gonna be okay. We're gonna be okay. Like no matter what happens, like we're gonna be okay.
Yeah.
And I get that can sound sort of like overly positive
Yeah.
in moments, and I want to be compassionate to that.
Yeah.
But feeling that, right? Like it would literally, I would walk into like a Trader Joe's or into a Target, and it was just palpable
Mm-hmm.
here.
Mm-hmm.
And um, experiencing our world that way was so new for me,
Yeah.
and so that grief was heavy for me at
Okay.
first, and it was just really like I was just in so much prayer, of
Yeah.
like, please wake people up to their own power.
Yeah.
Please wake people up to their own gifts. Please let people see that there's something bigger happening here, and renew their faith,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I like that you mentioned, because I was going to get there. I like that you mentioned being home with your son and homeschooling him during this time, because I know a lot of people are home with their kids.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they want to kill their kids.
Yeah. Yeah. You don't see any, I used to see the posts about like how bad public school is, how awful the school system is and all that. And I haven't seen not one post complaining about schools or teachers or curriculum or anything. And I'm like, this is perspective.
Yeah, it is.
Perspective.
And I've had a chance to witness you being with your son, and you also post a lot of things on social media. You guys doing TikTok and all the things. And it's dope. I love seeing the both of you interact and do all these fun things.
Thank you.
I feel like I want to ask you about, because people kind of want some type of perspective, I feel, on how to deal with their kids being at home. I'm not sure if you speak to that or offer anything for that, because I love how you're raising him. Like you give him like affirmations, or like you give him time to like sit in a corner and just like read his book, and then you found out he's auditory and he's also visual, like, so you've just discovered these things about him, and like you've learned how to be with him and treat him and raise him. Which I think is because I don't feel a lot of people take the time to do that, to like learn their kids and what their needs are. And I think that's amazing that you do that. And
Thank
also
you.
just from like a spiritual perspective, like you hear it, like I didn't get raised with like affirmations growing up.
Yeah, me either.
What is that?
Yeah.
But is there anything you can offer at this time for people who are just being with their kids and they're just over it, and just learning how to treat your kids and how and meeting their needs and what they need during this time? Like, could you speak to that?
Yeah. My response might be a little morbid sounding, but I remember taking him somewhere when he was little. He's probably like 3. And, you as a mom, you expect you're going to take your little kid there, and then they're going to cry and they're going to fall out and they're going to be so sad that you leave.
Yeah.
And he turned around, he looked at me, he was like, "Hey, bye," and he like walked off, and I was like, "Oh my God," Mom, you just left, like, like you didn't even care.
Yeah.
And she was like, "Well, that means you're doing a good job." And I was like, "What do you mean? Like, shouldn't he miss me?" And she's like, it doesn't mean that he doesn't miss you. It means he trusts that you're going to come back.
Yeah.
And your job is not to make him miss you. Your job is to grow him up. Your job is to equip him for the day that you're not here. And that really landed for me. And it shifted me from moment to moment parenting, which I think we get so caught up in, is like moment to moment, putting fires out, control parenting, to asking a bigger question about the long game of what tools do I want him to have? And how can I equip him? And I shifted in that moment from protective parenting to empowering parenting, where it's like I spent so much energy trying to protect him from what might hurt, instead of telling him, you can handle what happens.
Yeah.
I believe in you.
Wow.
You know, like we were on this run. I needed to get a 4-mile run in, and I was like, come on, dude, bring your bike. And he had never biked 4 miles. I don't know how long he had biked before in his life ever. Right.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're going to ride your bike next to me. And I'm in my mind going, gosh, Katie, you're crazy. You know, he's going to grow up and tell his friends you made him bike 4 miles when he was 8 on his bike, you know?
Yeah.
And we start, and he starts complaining. And I'm like, here's the deal. Your mind is coming up with these complaints. You're hydrated, you're healthy, your legs are strong, you got this. These are your mantras.
Yeah.
This is how we're going to learn how to retrain our mind.
Yeah.
And we started the mantras, and I'm running, saying them out loud with him. He's saying them out loud. You know, we made the 4 miles, but like, that's the thing, is like, we're going to face adversity.
Yeah.
We're going to face these moments. And I don't want my son to face one of those moments and go, I need my mom. I want him to go, my mom taught me something about this.
Yeah.
Let me, I believe I can do this. I believe I can figure this out. You know, I got a plan, you know, or I know how to meditate, or I know how to do these things that, you know, I need to build his muscles so that he can, when something, right, happens and I am no longer here on this plane with him, he can figure it out and he's going to be good, you know, and that's the perspective that I parent from. And so if that's my perspective, I need to learn. I need to learn about him. I need to learn how he learns best. I need to learn how he receives and integrates information. And I need to know that he's ever evolving just like I am.
Yeah.
So what works today might not work tomorrow. What's going to work, you know? So that's the perspective I take. And I don't nail it all the time. You know, like there's days where I'm like, yo, mama needs a nap.
Yeah.
So we're playing the silent game.
Yeah.
Okay. We're playing who can stay silent the longest, you know, like that's, I've definitely had those days.
Yeah.
The days, especially when he was younger and I was busy. I was growing myself up. I definitely had those days where I was like a mess and I was just like, Ma, can you come get him? You know, can you just come get him for 2 hours? And she would. And she was so great because from the time before he was born, she said, you know, this is a ride. This parenting thing is a ride. If you ever feel like you just need a break, I don't care what time it is, you call me, I'll come get him, you know? So that's always been something that's been super present. I'm so grateful for that. And I encourage anybody, if you're watching this and you're parenting, like get an ally, find someone that can be that ally, even if like they just need to pick up the phone when you call, because this gets messy, you know, and I'm co-parenting, you know? So that's a whole other layer of parenting, is like when you're parenting with people that you don't live with and you're trying to navigate that. So it's a thing, you know?
Wow.
Yeah.
Thank you for sharing that. Wow. That was, I have a son. He's 5. He does not live with me. He's on the other side of the country with his biological mother. But that was, I feel like that hit me when you're just like, well, find out what he needs, you know, like how to treat him and be stable in reminding him, like empowering him in his own, you know, wants and needs and challenges and all of that. So that was good. Thank you. I'm glad I asked.
Thanks for asking. Yeah, you're welcome.
Okay, so we're going to talk about, I want to talk about safety, right?
Let's do it.
You're like, I feel like you're safety queen, like, you know what I mean? Because like being in your program, you would offer like some tools and practices around safety. And I feel like now in this time, for me personally, I have been discovering and rediscovering myself in all of the quarantine-ness. And I am not who I used to be, like not even a few weeks ago, you know, not even yesterday. And like these I'm like for what lack of like unlayering, like, you know, just really these things don't serve me, these stories of limiting beliefs. And I find that my safety is now like has been threatened so much. I'm just like, I don't feel safe. Oh my God, like who am I? And I know a lot of people are probably experiencing that during this time. But I remember some of the safety tools that you offered me and being with myself and using these rituals to feel safe. Could you speak to that? Could you offer, because women especially, right, because you coach women,
for sure,
women especially during this time, and it probably would apply to men as well, but women during this time, I feel, are in, we don't know what's going to happen, so there's this feeling of like not being safe. And love for you, that's one of the reasons I wanted you on this program, is could you offer some tools for safety, for grounding, just like coming back to ourselves in time and knowing that we are safe?
Yeah.
Could you please?
For sure. So safety for me starts with a couple questions. And the questions I would offer is, how do I know I'm safe? What's the answer to that question? What makes me feel safe? And what's the answer to that question, right? And then those answers to those two questions is what will begin to formulate what I call your anchors. And so the anchors are the things that remind us that we're here, and they bring us back to the now moment. And so for me, one of my anchors is my breath. And I learned this through plant ceremony. Because in plant ceremony, you go on all kinds of different journeys, and the one thing that's the anchor is the breath. And so it's like, the air in the lungs, air out, reminds me that the heart is still beating. I'm still here. The world is still spinning. Another anchor for me is my hand on my heart. And it just reminds me that like I'm physically still here. I'm physically still safe. Right. And a lot of us have one of the most common coping mechanisms, especially if we've encountered any trauma growing up, which 99% of us have, is we actually will leave our body. So we'll disassociate and we'll leave our body. And so that's what can happen when the environment becomes uncertain, right? Or unpredictable, is like we disassociate and the mind goes somewhere else. And there's like this split that happens. And so, people will come to me and go, well, I don't remember my childhood, or I don't remember certain years. And it's because they literally weren't in their body. It was a trauma response, and the body did it for its own protection. Thank goodness. But part of safety and cultivating safety is bringing yourself back here, right? The mind wants to run off into what's happened or what's about to happen, right? The ideas of it. And because the mind runs in those circuits, the body starts to respond, right? And we said earlier that we are the only species that can activate a stress response when there's no physical stimuli present. And so we can do that to ourselves. And when that happens, right, we bring ourselves back to this moment. And so I use breath, like as cheesy as it sounds, like remember your breath. Breathe, take a deep breath, and just like imagine, I literally visualize the air going in my nose, down into my lungs, and back out again. Right? The other thing is I put my hand on my chest. The other thing is I have some grounding crystals, that I'll just hold, just like, just let me just presence myself with this. And like, for me, safety is remembering I'm in a body. Right? I am not this body. I'm in it. And that really brings me back to like, okay, I'm here, right? This moment now. So those would be my just keys with safety. And then everybody will have their own unique twist on safety. Like for some people, it's like water. Like some people feel super safe with water. They'll go wash their hands. They'll go get in the bathtub. Like there's something about the element of water. For some people, and actually I might be one of these people, it's lighting a candle.
Me too.
Light a candle, and like the presence of that fire and that warmth and that light just soothes me, so you'll find, based on the two questions I asked, you'll find like your unique thing, right? And initially when I started this practice, I would have to literally tell myself I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. I'm safe. The fact that I can say I'm safe means I'm safe, so that sort of just, what we're doing in these practices is we're recalibrating the nervous system. And that's what determines whether or not we feel safe is my nervous system in fight or flight or freeze, or is it in the parasympathetic state where I'm relaxed, I'm calm, I'm present,
Thank you so much.
You're so welcome.
Yeah, because I just want to remind people that, like, because I don't feel like a lot of people realize that you can create these safety rituals for yourself.
Absolutely.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
we just go into like, I'm not, oh my God, I'm freaking out, I'm not safe, I'm
Sure.
anxious, I'm all the things. And it's like, you're not born that way. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, come
Mhm.
back to who you are and
Yeah.
truth and your presence, and
Yeah.
know that, like you said, either we're in the past or we're in the future, but like the
Mhm.
present is where the safety is.
Yeah.
Knowing that you can create safety rituals for yourselves to
For
feel
sure.
grounded in safety during this time and any time.
Mhm. 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 And I
Um,
would love to add something to that,
yeah,
Peeta,
please.
is it's okay to realize that you don't feel safe.
Yeah,
Like, I
that's,
really want to presence that,
yeah,
because there are moments, right, where it's like I should feel safe,
yeah,
but I don't,
yeah,
and I don't really know why yet, and I don't
yeah.
really know how to navigate that. And so
Mhm.
not making yourself wrong for that,
Yeah,
right? Like,
yeah.
because when we get into that heightened stress response, we
Mhm.
actually can't access answers.
Yeah.
It makes us so that we become reactive versus
Mhm.
responsive, and
Mhm.
in the mode of receiving. And so
Mhm.
when we can say, okay, I'm safe, and we can calm our nervous system down, we can get present, then we become the space where realizations can happen, and we can receive and hear our intuition, and we can
Yeah.
really go, oh, that's why I didn't feel safe, or this is what's happening, right? So
Yeah.
just really presencing that for people, that if you feel unsafe, no judgment,
Yeah.
no judgment on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's okay to be.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. And I feel like I want to add to, like, because I know a lot of people are in environments where
Sure.
they don't feel safe.
Sure. Absolutely.
There's tools there. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Time for
Mhm.
yourself. Like, okay, this person's not making me feel safe. You could take time for yourself to reconnect with
Mhm.
that safety, or recognize why you don't feel safe around this person, or
Yep.
what the situation is. So
Mhm. Mhm.
yeah, because I was like, that's been coming up for me lately. I was like, I don't feel safe. Oh my God. And
Yeah.
because like just a lot of old systems and ego beliefs and things are breaking down for me personally.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah, but I like
I
the
liken it
candle.
I liken it to, like, when you take a baby and you're going to teach them how to swim,
Yeah.
and like you put the baby in the water and they're like, "Oh my god," like,
Yeah.
like this is the natural response when our world shifts.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
like we go back to, we touched on this a couple times throughout this interview, but like giving yourself the grace to learn again.
Yeah.
Because the other thing I think that's going to happen around this whole COVID-19 thing is we're not going back to what we knew as normal.
Yeah.
We are evolving into a different way of
Yeah.
being in this world.
Mhm.
There's going to
Mhm.
be new systems, there's going to be different structures, there's going to be it's not going to look or feel the same.
Yeah.
And it's going to feel like we've just been dropped in the pool and we got to learn how to swim.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I
And
know
it's like,
that's real for
okay,
right now.
like I can learn how to swim. I
Yeah.
can learn how to swim. And I
Mhm.
remember my dad holding me, because I used to be like in the pool.
Yeah.
And he told me something. My dad is super wise. He said, Katie, if you try to fight it, you'll drown. If you relax, you'll float.
Mm.
And the water will just hold you, and the waves won't crash on you, and
Mm.
you'll just rock with it,
Yeah.
right? Don't fight it. Don't fight
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And I still hear that in my life now, where it's like,
Mhm.
don't fight it,
Yeah.
be with it. What's here? What can I learn? I can learn how to swim,
Yeah.
like I can learn all these things. So
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, and it's like all the feelings that are coming up that's making you feel unsafe, it's here to teach you
Mm-hmm.
something. You get to look at
For
that.
sure. For sure. Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you.
Yeah, you're so welcome. Uh-huh.
Yeah, so let's talk about your programs,
Okay.
which I love your programs.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's the Queen Maker. I
Uh-huh.
know you have one with your partner, Sanika, the
Mm-hmm.
Method,
Yes.
and you have also a newer program. You want to
Yes.
tell us a little
Yes.
bit
Yes.
about these programs and what you offer?
Absolutely. I'll tell you about my two, because the one with Sanika is evolving. So
Okay.
he's taking that and he's shifting, and it's evolving.
Okay.
So my main program is the Queen Maker program. It's for women who are looking for real love and freedom, and really waking up to the awareness that they are the common denominator in all of their life experiences. And so what we focus on is personal freedom and real love. And when I interview women, the top 3 things they tell me about is they want an awesome, intimate partnership. They want an awesome relationship with their body, and they want to feel great with their money.
Yeah.
And so the Queen Maker was really created for these women, and the tools, the skills, the awarenesses, the practices that they need. It's a 3-month coaching program. You get 3 one-on-one calls with me, weekly videos, assignments, challenges, community, all of it. So that's the Queen Maker. The one I just released today is called the Prosperous Queen. Okay. And this is a 6-week deep dive into money and prosperity. And so another thing that I'm really feeling into after this COVID thing is that there's going to be a shift in the financial system. Yeah. And there's going to be women who are going to be called forward and who are going to need to be ready to receive the prosperity that they came for. Yes. So, that's what that 6-week program is about. It's about releasing any shame, fear, guilt around money, family patterns, letting those go, learning how to create the confidence and the worthiness around money, learning how to navigate and be accountable when self-sabotage pops up and abandonment pops up and self-judgment pops up. And so that's a 6-week container, and I'm super excited about that one too.
Nice.
Yeah. And then I do one-on-one work for those queens that want to dive deep. We go there.
Awesome. Let me tell our viewers, I highly recommend all of Katie's programs.
Oh, thank you.
They have been like, when I say life-changing for me, I mean life-changing, because you know, you see me. Like, you know where I've been. But yes, I think you're such a gift to the world. And
thank you.
I'm so glad that you're doing these programs and offering women ways to empower themselves and in their queendom. And
amazing.
Yeah, you're this gift that I can't get enough of. I'm like, y'all need to DM her. Get at Katie, okay?
Yes. As are you, Peeta. Thank you for creating this space.
Oh, yeah.
And being so generous with your time and your wisdom and your knowledge. It's really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we're gonna move into the segment I call Vibing with Peeta segment.
Okay.
Where I just get to ask you some fun questions and you being in this quarantine, this space, and what that looks like for you, and just fun times.
Okay.
With Katie.
Okay.
And Peeta.
Yes.
All right. So whatever just comes up for you, you just go for it. Okay.
Okay.
So question 1. Who would be a significant figure, living or dead, that you would have liked to have met or like to meet?
Phil Jackson.
Who?
Phil Jackson.
Phil Jackson, really?
Yes.
And why?
I think he's a master. I think he's a living master at human behavior, at understanding humans, at how to navigate relationships and get people to win.
Wow. Nice. Okay.
Yeah.
Who is your... Actually, I'm kind of going back and forth if I wanted to ask you this.
Okay.
I think I'm going to ask you. I may edit it, but we'll see.
Okay.
All right. So you have a quarantine bae. Sanyika. If he was not in the picture, who would you want to be your, like, get a choice to have someone be your quarantine bae? Well, a celebrity or just everyday Joe? Who would it be? I'm going more towards a celebrity though, so we have an idea.
You know what, Peeta?
What?
I would be solo.
No way.
I would not be quarantined with nobody.
No way.
Yep. 100%.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting. Okay. You want to say why? You want to?
It, like, as loving as I am with people, and like I love people and I love working with people, like I really, really, really have to love somebody to be up in their space and have them in mind 24/7.
Okay.
Like, it really, like, it's next level for me.
Okay.
You know? So yeah. So I would be a hard pass.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Let's see you, Katie. Favorite quarantine snack right now?
Ooh, I would say French fries. Yeah. French fries. So good.
Yeah.
Salty? Ooh, yes. And super hot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You like them like crispy, or do you like them a little bit softer?
I like them crispier.
Yeah.
Like
Okay.
crispy on the outside,
Okay.
soft on the inside. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't like them too crispy. I prefer more like soft.
Not too crispy, but like,
Yeah.
you know, I don't want to pick up the fry and have it flop.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like I want it to be like, you know, stick out, so I can dip it if I want to. You know.
I gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Cool. Favorite. This is like a 4-part question. So favorite book,
Okay.
podcast, music / artists that you're digging, and series that you're binging to right now, if you are.
Do I have to go in that order?
No.
Okay. Series. Insecure.
Okay. Yeah.
I like Insecure, although it's kind of hard to watch. These episodes are kind of hard to watch because I'm like, I want them to be in the Queen Maker. Okay. Series Insecure. Music.
Or artist.
Artist. Artist, I would have to say, you know, can I go producer?
Mm-mm.
No? Artist, man. I would say Janet Jackson.
Word?
That's who's coming up for me right now.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
You bumping some Janet these days?
Bumping some Janet these days.
Yeah. No, I love me some Janet.
Yes. Yes. Miss Jackson, if you're nasty. Book. Favorite book. You know, if I was going to pick a favorite right now, it would be Untamed by Glennon Doyle.
Okay.
I think that's a powerful book. Powerful book. It's about living raw and authentically and real. Okay. And that we've sort of been tamed and conditioned into these behaviors, these thought patterns, these ways of being. And she likens it to the cheetah at like the safari park.
Wow.
They're like, you're not crazy. You're a cheetah that's been living at a safari park, and you were never meant to be living in a safari park, you know? So I love that book. Highly recommend it. Okay. Podcasts, I don't really listen to podcasts.
No? Okay.
To be honest. Yeah. If I was going to pop one up and listen to one, the Broken Brain podcast.
Okay.
Some really great people on it. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Who hosts that? I
don't know his name.
Okay.
I don't know, but you can find it on YouTube. I like podcasts that I can watch.
I see. Me too.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I want to see y'all.
Yeah.
What you talking about? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Psychotherapist for yeah.
I know, right? Is that all 4? Did I hit all 4?
You did.
Okay, cool.
So new hobby or current hobby that you're doing more of in quarantine?
In quarantine. You know, this is going to sound funny, but being outside. Okay. Like just going outside and just sitting outside. Mm-hmm. And I would credit Elijah for this because he's an super outside kid. Okay. And so he'll be like, Mom, come on, let's go sit outside. And so like I've been taking my towel and just going in the grass and sitting outside. And it's this quarantine has brought me to a real place of gratitude for my yard, my front yard, my backyard, like just my home in general. Yeah. So yeah, being outside, new hobby. Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Yeah.
What do you miss about your everyday routine, if there is anything missing from your everyday routine because of this quarantine?
You know, I don't think there's anything super missing from my routine. But there's definitely things that like I think about when I get out of quarantine, I am no longer going to deny myself that. So like an example of that is like a beach day, like going to the beach, you know, putting my feet in the sand, taking a spin class, you know, like the ability to just book a spin class and show up, you know. Yeah. I would say going to like parks and going on hikes. Yeah. Something big for me, like that kind of stuff. Yeah.
All right. Cool. I know you like this one.
Okay.
So if you had to choose between being in these 3 artists in their music videos, because we know you love you. We know you love you.
You know I wanted to be a video chick, Peeta. You know I wanted to be a video chick. When I was 17, I was like, please.
I know you, Katie. I know.
I had the moves too, you know. I had the moves.
Hey, I've seen you at those classes. You be heel classes.
I was ready. I knew I had to stay ready just in case. Just in case.
You got a little something going. So you'd be fine. All right. So artists, then their music videos. Which one would you choose?
Okay.
Out of the three. Cardi B.
Okay.
J-Lo.
Okay.
Or Beyonce.
Oh, you had to throw B in there, huh?
Yeah, I did. I know what you like.
You know, interestingly enough, it would be J-Lo.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
J-Lo.
Yeah. I think because I would want to see J-Lo's work ethic and how her mind works. That's what I would want to see. Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You're coming from a therapist perspective.
I know, right? That's me, right? This is why I do the work. So I'm like, I want to know what she does. I want to know what does she say? How does she talk? How does she walk? You know. Mm-hmm. So yeah, totally.
Okay, so now I'm going to the rap game, right? Rap
okay.
Videos.
Okay.
So 3.
Okay.
Dr. Dre, Snoop Dogg, J. Cole.
Oh, you always throw the one in there.
I did.
Definitely not Snoop. I would be too high by the time I got on set. I would be like on the smoke. I would be like, I can't even function.
Yeah.
You know, it would be J. Cole.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yeah. Not surprised there.
Yeah. I just want to ask him if he's done plant medicine.
Oh my God.
I'm sure he's done psilocybin, but I want to know if he's sat with Aya.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah. We know you love your gangster rap, and
I do. I want to have lunch with Dr. Dre.
Yeah.
You know, I wouldn't want to be in one of his videos, but I would for sure want to like sit down and be like, "What's up?" You know?
I can see it.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. So you make queens, right? You have programs that develop queens.
Yeah.
Who is one of your favorite queens that you love and admire?
Like in the world?
In the world, yes.
I think J-Lo is one for sure.
Okay.
Yeah. Her, I know, like I've studied her stuff a lot, and I know she does the work. I can tell she does the work.
Yeah.
And she has said on interviews, like, she's like, I went and met with Louise Hay. Like, I went and like figured my stuff out, you know? And so I think that she is living proof that the work works. Yeah.
Cool.
Number one.
Last kind thing you've done for someone.
The last kind thing I've done for someone. Oh my gosh, great question. You know what? Does it have to be a person?
You'd let me know what your answer
is. I follow an organization called Wags and Walks.
Okay.
And they adopt and, you know, save dogs. And I think it was yesterday. They do this like crisis crew or something. And so like they pop up a story about a dog that needs funding. And there was this dog that looked like a boxer that I used to have who was like one of my soulmates. And so I donated to her little GoFundMe Wags and Walks thing. Yeah. And I love doing stuff like that. So I'll like donate here and there, you know.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That's sweet.
Thank you.
Okay, last question is, if you had one message for the world, what would it be?
You can. You can.
You can.
Whatever it is that you want to do, whatever it is you're faced off with right now, whatever it is that's calling you forward, you've got everything you need.
Yes. Yes, and yes.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Katie.
Oh, you're so welcome.
An awesome conversation.
Thank you.
Appreciate you being here and you taking the time to have this conversation and offer your medicine on this platform. I adore you and I appreciate you so much, and I love you. So thank you for being here.
Love you, Peeta. Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, you're welcome. It's a great combo. I hope people get so much out of this. Please tell us, the viewers, where we can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at the Queen Maker Live, and you can find me on Facebook if you type in Katie Lynn. And then you can also find me at www.thequeenmaker.live.
Awesome. Cool. Go check her out, people.
Yes. DM me. I'm all up in the DMs.
Yeah, be all up in her DMs. She's
yeah.
Thank you, Katie.
All right. You're welcome.